Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up tonight, history made. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala appointed new chief of the World Trade Organization, becoming the first woman to ever lead the Switzerland-based institution and the first African citizen to take on the role. Also coming up, government settles a little over 50% of debt owed independent power producers, but energy sector debt may rise to $12.5 billion by 2023. Plus, Ghana ranked second worst among 5 key sub-Saharan African nations with the highest transportation cost on prices of consumer goods. And we've got details of those stories and others coming up in this half hour of Business News. Welcome back, everyone. History has been made today. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has been appointed the new chief of the World Trade Organization, becoming the first woman to ever lead the Switzerland-based institution and the first African citizen to take on the role. Here's some more about her we want to tell you about. Born in Nigeria, Okonjo-Iweala graduated from Harvard University in 1976 and then earned a PhD from MIT. She then became the first woman to take on the Nigerian Finance Ministry and the Foreign Ministry too. She was also the first female to run for the World Bank presidency, where she spent 25 years. In October, her WTO candidacy was supported by all geographic regions at the trade body, apart from the United States, where the then president, Donald Trump, said his country would continue backing the Korean candidate. However, Okonjo-Iweala's appointment was cleared when President Joe Biden announced a few days ago his support for the 66-year-old. Her vision is to rejuvenate and strengthen the World Trade Organization to tackle effectively ongoing trade issues. History made indeed. Well, let's move on to other stories we're following for you tonight. Government has settled a little over 50% of debt owed independent power producers, distributors, and bulk consumers. This leaves the current indebtedness of government to the IPPs at $750 million. The Chamber of Independent Power Producers describes it as good faith shown by government, but once more, it says it remains the most competitive in the ECOWAS sub-region. Elik Plim Komla Apetogbo is chief executive and an energy expert.
Remain the most competitive in the sub-region. We are doing averagely 11 cents per kilowatt hour. And as a chamber and as an objective, we have challenged ourselves to competition to do better than this. The 12 billion payment is not a gift, it's a legitimate payment. It's actually an overdue payment. And it's in respect of services that we have pre-financed and provided just to keep the lights on for the good people of Ghana.
Now, away from that, among 5 key sub-Saharan African countries, Ghana was ranked second with the highest impact of logistics or transportation costs on the prices of consumer goods. That's according to Standard Bank's Consumer Insight Report. Charles Nexia has been going through the findings and has more.
Ghana and most sub-Saharan African countries, transportation costs represent 50 to 70% of the retail price of goods. Thus, the Standard Bank survey said is due to longer supply chains, which is further complicated by weak infrastructure. However, it's pointed out that the government has begun to make progress in the transportation sector, committing about $2.5 billion to transport infrastructure development in 2019. The report emphasized that improvement in the transport space will go a long way to alleviate pressure on the cost lines of consumer goods firms and retailers. This will subsequently impact on inflation as prices of goods, particularly foodstuffs from the hinterland, may go down significantly when roads and other transportation infrastructure improve and ease movement. Ethiopia was ranked first with the highest transportation cost on price of consumer goods. South Africa, however, is the country with the least logistic cost on the continent, even doing better than India and Russia. It is not surprising that consumer price index is very low in South Africa compared to Ghana, whose inflation is also lower than Nigeria and Kenya.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has given assurance it would institute the required measures to safeguard the financial sector. George Affe has details on the liquidity assistance program for the financial sector.
Liquidity assistance framework is part of the Bank of Ghana's objective of providing the needed monetary support to all financial institutions in the country, not only the commercial banks. These support are captured under its intraday liquidity and emergency assistance program. The framework has been designed in a way to address weaknesses identified by the Bank of Ghana, especially during the recent banking sector crisis, while allowing better liquidity planning for all financial institutions in the country. The program is designed in a way to ensure that at every point in time, these banks and financial institutions have the required funds to meet their day-to-day obligations. The regulator and the framework also maintains that these funds are not being extended to these institutions for free, as the necessary collaterals will be provided. Banks in question will also have up to 3 months to pay back, and the amount to be extended based on the liquidity gap identified. Well, for some, the review by the Bank of Ghana was needed to streamline support for the financial institutions and prevent instances where payment by the institution in question were delayed and even disbursement were even questioned, with some players describing it as not being that transparent.
The Ghana National Household Registry is beginning data collection on poor and vulnerable persons living in COVID-19 hotspots within Greater Accra, Greater Kumasi and Obuasi areas. About 50,000 people are expected to be profiled for COVID-19 relief items. The rapid data collection exercise would cover Kumasi Metropolis, Asokore Mampong, Swame, Asokwa, Obuasi and Obuasi East municipalities. In 2 weeks, Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin has more.
We estimate a total of over 50,000 individuals in the different vulnerable categories that will be profiled within the Greater Kumasi and Obuasi areas. The areas have been zoned into 4 thematic areas and hotspot zones, since it cannot be exhaustive of the numbers that we are looking for. And this will be based in the Kumasi Metro, Asokore Mampong, Swame, Asokwa, Obuasi Municipal, and then Obuasi East.
A comprehensive data on the poor and vulnerable remains key to a successful, productive social protection program. According to the Ghana National Household Registry, the database would inform the government's decision-making processes for relief services to affected groups. Dr. Prosper Larry is the coordinator of the Ghana National Household Registry.
Key to a successful, productive social protection program is the need for comprehensive and robust data. One of the things that this coronavirus have exposed us to is the inadequacy of data and then the ability to be able to target rightly. And the Ghana National Household Registry is a unit whose purpose is supposed to be the targeting center, creating a single national household data so that beneficiaries of social protection programs can draw from it. So the more we are able to pick data, the more we enhance the capacity to improve upon the efficiency in targeting, improving upon transparency, and also ensuring that these relief items get to the most targeted people.
With the support of the World Food Programme, up to 75,000 vulnerable people in the Greater Accra and Ashanti region identified to be hardest hit by COVID-19 pandemic will benefit from the relief.
The Ghana National Household Registry, whose mandate is to create a national household register over the year, has demonstrated robust system to gather data using electronic method of enumeration. And I must say that through the support of the World Bank, we have created electronic enumeration system with data collection equipment, which makes a turnaround time.
All right, you're watching Business Live. We are pausing to take you to Parliament's Appointments Committee, which has resumed sitting.
Form of liquid assets where our credit facilities were ignored. In the selection of the 4 companies that pre-qualified, the evidence does not support that they had this qualification to be part of that restructured tendering process. What is the nominee's comment, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chairman, a lot of assertions of corruption have been made about this, and so far I haven't.
Welcome back to the program. We'll take you to Parliament. Immediately we get the live feed from there. But let's do other stories tonight. Out of several colors, traders of surgical masks in Kumasi say customers prefer the black face masks to other colors. Retailers are currently cashing in after demand shot up. A box of 50 black surgical masks, which used to sell at 35 cedis, has shot up to 40 cedis. Now, the traders have, however, advised customers to desist from reusing their disposable face masks. Anita Sewajuga interacted with some of the retailers. All right, we'll bring you that story subsequently. Now, market leaders in Kumasi have accused the Metropolitan Assembly of lacking the willpower to evict hawkers from pavements in the Central Business District. The KMA served notice for traders to move from the pavements to satellite markets within the metropolis, but the traders have failed to comply as the deadline has elapsed. Now, leaders in the market are unhappy with the KMA's lukewarm attitude to implement its bylaws. There's more.
Plans
to evict traders from pavements in the Central Business District of Kumasi looks bleak. The traders believe the KMA lacks the willpower to implement its bylaws. Most of the traders plying their wares on pavements are said to have abandoned their shops and shelves at the various markets to hawk on the shoulders of roads. But City Mayor Osei CBNG says the assembly is working to change the narrative.
Petty traders on Kuan, tables of 500. Yet, more than 400 plus empty. They are selling on the street. That is why we want to use force to push them to go and sell at a place very dignified.
Market Queen in charge of the Bantama and Racecourse markets, Efia Chiwa, says the KMA must first improve conditions in the markets before any relocation plan.
Freedom, Racecourse.
The traders will certainly feel reluctant coming to trade in this dust, especially when most of these stores are well organized, she says.
Traders at the Efia Kobi market are also disappointed in the leadership of Osei CBNG to address concerns of traders in the various markets. Mama Jane is spokesperson for the traders.
Central market 2 acres.
This market is vast, and there are a lot of traders on the streets who could have occupied it. There is uneven sharing of the stalls to traders. Some use nepotism to claim the spaces here without any proper arrangements, she continued. The leadership has actually not helped us at all, she says.
Reporting from Kumasi, Emmanuel Osei.
Well, I promised you we were going to bring you the story about the surge in patronage of black face masks. Here's that story for you.
He sold a box of surgical masks to a woman who has 4 children, but she changes her children's nose mask every 3 days. Another driver who lives in my house wears the black mask for 1 week.
Ades the woman ne bonga do to park ni so no ma betimi ayisu no be o mebele o 50 I was out on way to attend our trainer brand association those masses black in India or driver ni so or driver na who say now this auto black ya na go to blue na kanye is that black in the entire mo problem ba we blue no mana was my black.
My customers always prefer the black mask. They claim the blue mask gets dirty easily. The price of the black mask was increased. That's why most traders sell it at a price of 2 cedis.
Black in the
The men patronize the black mask more than the women. We had to increase the price of the mask because we buy the mask at expensive prices.
11 million, you're 25, 30 cities. Let's say 12 million, you're 100 cities.
I've seen quite a number of people patronize the black face masks of late as something that people feel that when they wear it and it gets dirty, nobody's going to see. Well, that's what people say. I don't know what you think about that. You're watching Business Live.